Money is quiet when it leaves. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't send a warning, but you feel it. Every time payday comes and goes faster than it should, every time you work hard and still end up in the same place, every time you look at your account and think, where did it all go? You're not lazy. You're not irresponsible. You just never saw the system that was quietly taking it. And today, that changes. Here's what nobody tells you. You already know convenience costs more. You already know going out adds up. You've heard it 1,000 times. Cut the lattes. Cook at home. Stop ordering out, but you still do it. Not because you're weak. Not because you don't care, because there's something running underneath the spending that has nothing to do with the spending itself. And until you understand what that is, it doesn't matter how many times you tell yourself to stop, the pattern wins. Every time. Most people think the answer is more income. Make more money, problem solved. But here's what nobody asks. If more money was the answer, why do people who get raises still feel broke 6 months later? Why do people who land better jobs still live paycheck to paycheck? Because even if you get more money, the same system in your brain is still the same. You just have more money now. The pattern doesn't care about the amount. It just scales up. A $2,000 month leaks, a $5,000 month leaks, a $10,000 month leaks, same brain. Bigger numbers, same result. The problem was never the amount coming in. It was the system running underneath. More money just means more to lose. So here's what's actually happening. Every purchase you make falls into one of two categories. Category 1, dopamine spending. This is money that buys a feeling. A ride because walking felt like too much. Food delivery because cooking felt like too much. Going out because you worked hard and you deserved it. Nobody tells you these purchases aren't bad. They feel completely reasonable in the moment. Your brain approves every single one. But the moment is over and the money is gone. Nothing left behind, no return, just the memory of a feeling that already faded. Category 2, asset spending. This is money that buys capability. A laptop that lets you build something. A book that permanently changes how you think. A tool that saves you 10 hours every month. Asset spending doesn't give you the hit. It doesn't feel exciting when you buy it. But 6 months later, it's still working, still producing, still returning value. Subscribe if you want the rest of this system. I'm breaking down exactly what to do with your money once you stop the leak. That video is coming next. I bought a MacBook, not because it was cheap, not to flex, because it gave me the ability to build something that pays me back. That laptop is on my desk right now producing income. The rides I took that same week, I couldn't tell you where I even went. Same money, completely different outcome. And here's the part nobody tells you. You don't have to stop enjoying your money. You just have to start asking one question before you spend it. Will this still be working for me tomorrow? That one question changes everything. Remember what I said at the start. Money is quiet when it leaves. It doesn't send a warning. It just goes. And for a long time, I let it. Not because I didn't care, because I was running on autopilot. The system was running me. I wasn't running the system. This isn't a theory. Look at every person who built real wealth from nothing. Not lottery winners. Not people who inherited it. People who started with the same amount you have right now. What did they have in common? They spent on assets before they spent on feelings. Warren Buffett still lives in the same house he bought in 1958. Not because he can't afford better, because he understood early. Money spent on status is money that stops working for you. Nobody asks why the people with the least sometimes build the most. It's not luck, it's not talent. It's the same decision made consistently on before the dopamine had a chance to vote. So here's exactly what to do. For the next 30 days, don't budget, don't restrict yourself, don't cut anything yet. Just track. Every time you spend money, write down one word. Feeling or building. That's it. Feeling, if it's gone in 24 hours. Building, if it's still working for you next month. Do that for 30 days. Don't judge it. Don't change anything yet. Just see it. Because here's what's going to happen. By day 10, you're going to start pausing before you spend. Not because I told you to, but because you can't unsee the pattern once you see it. And that pause, that 1 second between the impulse and the decision, is where your financial life actually changes. Here's what I want you to understand. You are not bad with money. You were never taught how to think about money. There's a difference. You grew up in a world that taught you how to earn, how to work, how to spend on things that feel good right now. Nobody sat you down and said, here are the 2 types of spending. Here is what builds. Here is what drains. Here's the question to ask before every decision. And you were never aware of the bigger system at play. A system designed specifically for your habits. Designed to take your money the moment it arrives. Designed to make the drain feel normal, feel deserved, feel reasonable. The apps, the delivery, the convenience, none of it is accidental. It was all built to win, and nobody told you the game was even happening. So you defaulted to what felt natural and ended up in the same place every month. Not because you failed, because you were playing a game you didn't even know you were in. But you know now, the person who watches this and does nothing, that stays in the same cycle. The person who starts tracking tomorrow is going to look back in 6 months and not recognize their own bank account. Same income, different decisions, completely different life. That's not motivation, that's math. Subscribe, because the next video shows you exactly where to put the money once you stop the leak. That's where it gets interesting. Here's the thing nobody tells you about wealth. It was never about how much you make. It was always about what you decided to keep. Here's what 30 days of tracking actually reveals. Most people discover the same pattern. Their money is going to 3 places, and 3 places only. The first place is comfort, rides, delivery, subscriptions you forgot you had, things that cost you money every single month while you're sleeping. The second place is social, going out, appearances, keeping up with people who are spending on credit. The third place is convenience, paying more to do less. And here's what's wild. None of those 3 places is building anything. Not a single dollar from those 3 categories is working for you tomorrow. They're all feeling categories, dressed up to look different, but they're the same thing. Comfort is a feeling. Social is a feeling. Convenience is a feeling. The moment ends. The dollar's gone. Nothing left behind. Now here's the shift. When you see all 3 clearly, something happens without you trying. You don't need willpower. You don't need discipline. You just start asking the question, and the question does the work for you. Will this still be working for me next month? That's it. That's the entire system. Now let me show you what this actually looks like over time, because this is where most people stop. They track for a week. They feel guilty. They quit. That's not what this is. This is not about guilt. This is about compounding decisions. The same way compound interest works on money, it works on choices. 1 right decision doesn't change your life, but 30 right decisions stacked back to back, that changes the pattern. And once the pattern changes, the money changes automatically. You don't have to think about it anymore. It becomes who you are. I'm not talking about being cheap. I'm not talking about sacrifice. I'm talking about building a version of you who defaults to the right move. The same way your brain used to default to the easy one. Because here's what I know now. Wealth isn't built in 1 big decision. It's built in 100 small ones that nobody sees. The decision to track instead of ignore. The decision to pause instead of react. The decision to ask the question instead of just spending. You weren't born behind. You were just playing a game with rules nobody explained. Now you know the rules. What you do next is the only thing that matters.